Hey folks, Leo here from Strange Science Instruments, and I wanted to make a quick video showing the dip switches on the back of our FC-16 and explain what those 4 switches do. These switches let you customize the functionality, and by default they're set to the up position. So the up position puts this product in its most sensible state, and you should only change these if you have specific needs that they address. There's more information in the user guide, so have a look at the user guide, and between that and this video, hopefully you'll have a full understanding of what these things do. Okay, so the first switch here, labeled 1, is for disabling the volume control on the FC-16. You might be wondering, why would anyone disable volume control on their immersive monitoring system? It's useful to have a volume control knob, and it is. The thing is, some manufacturers like Genelec, Neumann, there may be others, they have their own volume control systems. If you're using one of those, you probably don't want a second volume control knob in your signal path. You just need one. So what you can do is set this first dip switch to the on or down position, and that bypasses the volume control system that we have on FC-16. Be very careful when you do this. Make sure you have reliable volume control, because you won't be able to set levels with this knob anymore, and you could potentially send very loud sounds to your speaker system. So be careful when you do that. The second dip switch controls the functioning of our PLL circuit. FC-16 has a custom analog PLL circuit that we designed from scratch. A PLL is a very important part of any digital system. It allows the device to lock onto incoming signals. And our system actually has 2 ways of locking on. The best way is called clock regeneration mode, and that is what the system always opts for when the second dip switch is set to the up or off position. Okay, that's the best one because it provides the lowest phase noise and the lowest jitter on the outputs. Signals come in, they get cleaned up and regenerated and sent out of the AES outputs in a really precisely timed way. It's the best that this product can do, and it's the one that we recommend using. If the incoming signal is so jittery that the system cannot lock on, there's a secondary fallback mode called PassThrough mode, where the ADAT signals come in. If they have lots of jitter on them, the jitter, it just gets passed through the system onto the receiving device. We offer this as a sort of a fallback mode because it's better to have signal flowing through and being able to work than not, but it's not the best that this product can do. So we rarely see it. I've almost never seen this go into that mode because this product can lock onto just about any kind of incoming signal. But for testing and validation purposes, we have a mode on the dip switch here, on the second dip switch, that lets you force the system to stay in that clock pass-through mode. We debated whether we should have this at all, but in the end we decided to leave it in. And so signals come in, they go out exactly as is with jitter and everything in the signal. We don't do any cleanup work at all. Probably don't need to use that one, but it's in there and it's documented in the documentation. Number 3, we've got a sample rate detect force SMUX mode. If you set this to the down or on position, it forces the FC-16 to always treat incoming signals as high resolution SMUX signals. Probably you can leave this in the up position and the system will auto-detect whatever is coming in and work just fine. That's how I have used it with all the products I've tested it with. But it is there if you need it. And finally, we have the 4th dip switch. This is one that I'm actually very excited about. This was a late stage addition to the product, but it's a very useful one. If you're using this as a 16-channel format converter. Let's say you have a 9.1.6 studio, just leave this in the up position and don't worry about it. The volume knob will control all 16 speakers and you'll have a good time monitoring in your glorious 9.1.6 room. Now, most post-production studios we've seen usually top out at 7.1.4. That seems to be the sweet spot where, you know, most of the rooms we've seen, that's the maximum number of speakers, which leaves those last 4 channels, 1314 and 1516, free. Now, we didn't want to waste those, so we actually created a mode. That's the 4th one. If you set this to the down position, the 4th dip switch, if you put that to the down position, the knob on the front controls channels 1 through 12. So if you've got a 7.1.4 or fewer system, you can use the knob to set the levels of that system, no problem. Channels 13, 14, 15, and 16 go straight through the FC-16 and get passed on to whatever device at full scale. You can set this however you want, and the devices downstream of channels 13, 14, 15, and 16 will still receive the full scale signal. This is really useful because many users prefer to have a 1 or 2 headphone DAC amp type things. Like I've got a RME ADI2 here that I use to check my mixes in stereo and in binaural. And what I can do is set my rendering software to send the binaural mix out of outputs 15 and 16. And that full scale signal goes to the RME where I can set, you know, headphones on and set the levels to a comfortable listening level. That's really cool because then I can either mute this or turn it all the way down and still be able to use my headphones to hear what's going on. Because remember, those last 4 outputs are sent through this device without any attenuation. So that's a cool feature because it's nice to be able to check. You should always check your mixes on headphones because that's how most people are going to be hearing it. And this sort of accommodates that on really high quality headphone DAC type products. Anyway, that covers all of the dip switches on the back of FC-16. There's more information about this in the user guide, so please have a look there. I wrote that guide. There was no AI slop. There's no AI anything involved in the writing of that document, so have a look there to learn more. And I hope this has been useful. If you have any questions, please leave them below or email us directly and we'll get back to you with answers. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.